So that probably took me about an hour, maximum an hour and a half to bare metal that. And the beauty of it doing it mechanically is I can do it at my own pace. So obviously I told you I've done the inside, I did that at my own pace. I don't have to get the entire car down to the sandblaster and then organize to get the entire car epoxied at the same time. I can do panel by panel. I just find it, this is probably the best way to go. I've gone to war on this channel with the detailers. I've gone to war with some of the panel beaters who think everything has to be perfect. And the next thing I'm gonna go to war with is the bog naysayers. So, look, I think that you can go well and truly beyond what is recommended. Like a lot of panel beaters will say 2 mil, anything above sort of 2 mil, you should be panel beating it. But this door here was absolutely caked in bog and most of it wasn't even falling out. That was actually quite deep. I'm gonna make this out of bog. So replacing this panel here, you're looking at about $500 for a new door. And even then, most of them are not in much better condition than this. They might look better until you take all the paint off and you find out, well, it's just as good as this one. Now, the other option is you can actually get door skins for these. Personally, I've never done a door skin, so I'd rather not attempt that. I'd rather just make it out of bog. It's a very solid door now. You know, as you can see there's some solid metal in there. There was quite a bit of pitted rust there, so I did spend quite a bit of time on that just with the various different wire wheels. Started off with the big one. That's what I generally do. Start with the big one and work your way down. Obviously, I actually started with that one, then that one, then some of these smaller ones, and yeah, it's looking good. So the next step is going to be phosphoric acid. As you can see here, I even welded like a little patch up in the corner. Solid, mate. On the inside, I've treated the rust. On the outside, as you can see here, it's all gone back to bare metal. Another thing that I've been talking about, and I do agree with some of the people in the comments, they were probably the ones that actually started it. I've thought this for some time myself. I think a lot of people over restore a car. Like the way I see this has taken this car, what is it, 47 years or 48 years to get this bad? So do you, I don't know, like, I guess this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Some people would be like, oh no, that all has to come back to bare metal, the whole thing, it all has to be perfect, like it's a brand new car. Mate, it's taken, what, 47 years for a tiny little bit of surface rust creeping up there. Mate, I'm getting a bit of 180 grit scratching off the surface. I'll give it a treat with the rust treater, get some good quality epoxy primer. Mate, that's gonna outlast the rest of the car, you know what I mean? So that's just my opinion. If you think everything has to be taken back to bare metal perfectly, you do you, buddy, you know? But I'm doing me. And I'm filling this door with bog because, look, I'm not a panel beater. I don't really have the tools and equipment and know-how to get these panels much better than that. Like, I've tried getting up in there, there's really not that much room. And then the other thing is, like, you'll find that the metal's being stretched. Every time a dent occurs, you'll stretch the metal, even just by getting that dent into the panel. And this car here was not in a good way, even when I bought it 20 years ago, and it hasn't got any better since. But like, this is no doubt sideswiped something in the past, and it's just been loaded with bog. And then yeah, there was like lots of holes here. It's like they tried, nearly to me, it's like they tried drilling holes and tried pulling it up, but then kind of half gave up on it. But that's where I'm at. Look, it's gonna look rough when it's in primer, but I don't care. I'm just gonna load it up with bog. Yeah, baby, bog it up. Loves that. Anyway, let's get this phosphoric acid on. Alright, so the place is a little bit of a mess. Excuse the mess. That's what it's like when you're having so much fun on your Saturday morning. And I have some phosphoric acid in one of these atomizer bottles here, and a little bit of an old bit of scotchy around here somewhere. I like to use that scotchy. It kind of, I don't know, it massages this stuff in, and it can actually remove some of the slight surface rust. I don't want to overdo it because I don't want too much on the inside of this panel because I've already primed that up. I guess in an ideal, like in a perfect world, you would do the inside and outside at the same time. But I don't have a spray booth, and I mean, I guess I could if I really wanted to rig something up. Maybe, yeah, maybe I'll do that when I do the front doors. See if I can hang the doors from the roof or something. Acid is also a metal conditioner, so it'll get it into a good clean state to prime over. But I have found, like, if you want to get, if you just wanted to, if it was not for this, right, the best way to work this material would be do this, apply it like that, and I know it's counterintuitive, but you would then get some water. We used to even get the hose outside and just hose it off. That will neutralize all of the acid, dry it off straight away, prep sol it, and then get it straight into primer. But because I'm wanting it to bite into that rust, I'm going to leave it on, and that's just going to bite into that rust, and then I'll just be able to get the wire wheels back out, and it will remove the last bits of rust. As I say, there's little bits inside here where there's, you know, little bits of pitted rust that is still there, but yeah, many people, even someone on Instagram, they're like, oh mate, that door is toast, you know, get a new one. I disagree. There's still lots of good steel in it, mate. It'll live to fight another day. And also the other thing that I've been thinking about, also the other thing that I've been thinking is, like, it's not the end of the world. Let's just say I do this, and it's not going to happen, but let's just say it rusts up in a year, or the bog just falls out when I shut the door. It's not the end of the world. Like, I can still put a new door on it later, but for now, I'm just trying to kind of keep the cost to a minimum. I guess that's the beauty of me being a spray painter, that I can just fix things as I go type thing. So, yeah, I mean, the way that a normal person would go about it may be a little bit different, because they have to think a little bit longer term, because it is so expensive to get your car repaired. But for me, it's like, well, if the bog fall out, or a little bit of rust comes back, I'll fix it, you know? So, yeah. I do, on these areas where it's just bare metal, without lots of rust, I do like to sort of wipe the excess off. That's what I've been doing anyway. Woohoo! Saturday Torana session, baby. Anyway, I gotta go do some shopping, the weekly shopping, so I'll come back in a couple of hours and hopefully that will have bitten in by then. Might even get that into epoxy primer today. Why not? Smashing through the job. So you can see that phosphoric acid has definitely done its job. It's bitten in and it's reacted with that rust. So next thing, I'm going to be getting my wire wheels back out, grinding the last bit of that rust off, and we should be left with some very, very clean bare metal. So it's kind of turned a bit of a funny color on the rest of it. And that will sometimes leave you with a bit of a crusty layer, but I do like to clean that off. I like to mechanically remove that. But yes, you can probably do that a different way. If you were just using it as a metal conditioner, as I said before, you could probably just hose it off straight away, dry it straight down, and then prep sole it. But because I needed it to do that biting in, that's why I just left it on. And there might have been, like, you know, there might have been a couple of little spots like here that you didn't actually quite realize, but it actually has gone and bitten in to the last little bits of those bits of rust. I'll get those gloves on just so I'm not getting any moisture off my hands onto that nice bare metal. It doesn't take much for bare metal to start rusting up, especially on a day like this when it's actually raining outside, so humidity is up. Alright, so what do we got next? I've got some methylated spirits, or denatured alcohol as they call it in America. This should help neutralize that acid. Dry it straight down. Thanks again for watching this episode of the Gunman, guys. Hope you have been enjoying watching this build and watching it progress. But if you would like to support the show even further, be sure to go and check out the Gunman merchandise that we've got in stock coming up to Christmas. If you've got a mate who's a Gunman fan, or if you've got, you know, a family member that you think would enjoy some of that Gunman merch, be sure to go and check that out. Obviously, we've got those spray suits, we've got hats, we've got some really high quality jackets and stuff like that, so be sure to go and check out the link in the description.
Spray Guns Direct do actually ship all that stuff out, so it could actually be a good time to buy some stuff from Spray Guns Direct at the moment, because I think the Great British Pound is taking a little bit of a hammering lately. So going, you know, if you're from outside of the UK, it could actually be a good time to buy some things from the UK with the exchange rate. I had a look the other day from Australian dollar, and yeah, we can even get like one of those new SATAs for around $1,000, which I thought, wow, that's pretty cheap, because over here they're asking like about $1,500 still. So anyway, until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.